half of all status First Nation children live below the poverty line. That's what a recent study found while looking into the issue. The Aboriginal population is the fastest growing in Canada, and the study says the potential for millions of First Nations youth hangs in the balance. The numbers are shocking. On average, 40% of First Nations children in Canada live below the poverty line.
That number shocks me because it's in a first world country.
A study done by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives and Save the Children Canada delved into the statistics. Using the most recent information from the 2006 census, the study identified 3 tiers of poverty. The first level shows 12% of children, excluding those of Aboriginal descent in Canada, are poor. The second tier includes Métis, Inuit, and non-status children. That comes in at 27%. By the third tier, with only status First Nations children, the number rises to a whopping 50%.
It is disturbing, but it wasn't surprising for me. I mean, all of the statistics have shown that most First Nations across Canada live in abject poverty.
UNBC professor Paul Michel says the numbers aren't new and the problem of poverty goes back hundreds of years.
Really, when you look at Canada, they almost had their apartheid system where they created over 600 First Nations Indian bands across Canada. And that separation from these communities from the western cities and the towns has created such an economic disparity.
Michel says First Nations were disadvantaged because their reserves were Crown land and had no monetary value, very different than early settlers.
For example, if you were in possession of First Nations property, you could not go to the bank and borrow money off that. That's different than the historical past when the pioneers came and they valued their fee simple lands.
There are no easy answers when it comes to inequality, nor is there a simple solution for change.
And I think the only way that we're going to come up with any good solutions if we have commitment from every level of government to make sure that the poverty rates are reduced.
Government intervention would be expensive. The study says it would take $1 billion to bring all First Nations children up to the poverty line.
The economy of Canada continues to go on. We're forgotten. It's our people that are forgotten, and the ones that are mostly impacted are our children.
The study adds the Aboriginal population is the fastest growing in Canada. If the poverty epidemic is not addressed, the potential of millions of young First Nations could be wasted.